Hi guys, welcome back to Mrozinski Family Homestead. So I have had a huge request from a lot of my subscribers. They want to learn how to make soap. Soap making is becoming very popular just because of everything that's been going on in the world. I'm not going to get into that whole situation. But my coconut oil based soap recipe is super easy. I have shown many people how to do it, and they seem to have liked it. They appreciate the way that I do teach it and show everyone how to do it, because it's just simple. It's not scary. There's not a whole bunch of how to put 15 different oils into one soap. So we are going to start off by, I do not wear gloves. I have my glasses on to protect my eyes. And if you feel comfortable doing this for your first time, if you want to wear gloves, please do. I have gotten burned by the lye quite a few times. I am still here, but it's okay. But it's just been little dots here and there and splashes. But I want you to feel safe and you to feel comfortable. I cannot wear gloves because gripping stuff, I can't feel stuff whenever I'm wearing gloves, and it makes me so uncomfortable. So I will not be wearing gloves. You can even wear long sleeve shirts. I've worn long sleeve shirts before, and they will actually, I've never had any lye splash up onto my arms, especially the way that I'm going to do it. I'm going to show y'all how to do it. But that seems to be everyone's number one thing, is lye. The lye solution. Okay, so basically when you mix the water in with your lye, that's the only time that it's dangerous. It's because it heats up and it gets hot. It gets probably almost 200 degrees in a glass jar. I use glass jars. I do not use any plastic when I'm messing with lye, because it will melt through the plastic and you will have a huge mess. So we are going to get started. Just make sure, if you need, please have safety glasses or some kind of glasses to protect your eyes, a long sleeve shirt if you need it, if you feel comfortable, and some gloves. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need for this, some of the things that you're going to need for this soap, alright, you're going to need coconut oil. Now, coconut oil is the number one base of my soaps. Coconut is a good lather. It has good antibodies that goes into your skin, and it is also like a UV repellent. So it's very good for your skin in many ways. So that's why I am using coconut oil. And if you get coconut oil soap in your hair, it's not going to hurt anything, because coconut oil is very good for your hair also. So we're going to have the ingredients for this recipe is coconut oil. It's refined. Excuse me. Yeah, it's refined, and I buy it by the gallon. Because I buy it by the gallon because you know that you'll have enough to make more soap. And lye, this is the lye that I use. It's by Bella Chemical. I get it on Amazon. It's sodium hydroxide. That is the name, the actual real name of lye. You cannot use Drano for this, even though Drano is lye. Drano is a thing that you dump down the toilet to clean your pipes out. Okay, you do not want to use Drano. You want to use an actual sodium hydroxide lye solution. Alright, and also, this is a food grade. Just because it is food grade does not mean you can eat it. Please do not eat this food. I'm already thinking about food, y'all. Please do not eat this. Okay, if anyone has ever term of or ever cleaned their kid's mouth out with soap, okay, back in the old days, lye was it. That's what the main base of the soap was, lye. So it will leave a bitter taste in your mouth. I have made soap before, and such as pulling it out of these little trays and turning around and not washing my hands afterwards and actually putting something into my mouth to eat it, and yes, I got the taste of washing my own mouth out with soap. So, okay, so all you need for this recipe is, and this is 2 pounds of lye. It is not that expensive, maybe $13 at Amazon. This gallon of coconut oil is $25 at Amazon. Everything comes from Amazon. And the only water I use this water. You can use tap water, you can use well water, you can use city water. It does not matter. You can just use, all you're going to need is a very little, and to get the whole lye solution made up. Alright guys, so we are going to talk about the molds. Okay, there's a lot of kits out there, and I have one of the kits. This kit is, we got this off Amazon. My husband got this for me when I first started making soap. I love him to death, but honestly, I will not use it. I've used it once, twice, maybe 3 times, but my soap, it does not set right, and I cannot cut it. I cannot cut a straight line for nothing. I have tried. In this, and let me show y'all. Let me. Okay, so it comes, this kit. Okay, it comes with the cutters and the molds. All right, now in this, even though it comes with the cutters, you got your 2 different types. You got your bumpy, and then you got your straight. Now I have tried to use both of them with this piece right here, but it does not matter how tightly you have the soap fit in here, you will always have a crooked cut. I do not recommend this for new beginners at all. This is like a more professional or higher up, and if I ever go back to doing these block bars like this, I'll have my husband make me one. There's some that are made out there that are easy. This is just a silicone piece that sits inside the rubber piece. This sits inside a wooden box. You still have to cover it. You still have to do the cardboard on top. You still have to do everything. But it's just so much harder to do it this way than to do it this other way that I'm going to show y'all. These molds right here are the ones that I recommend because they are already shaped into a soap bar. I use the ones that do not have any decorations because I also don't want the decoration to get messed up. Like there's some that has the decoration on it, and I've noticed as I've used those, some of the decoration would go out or would get displaced and it would look funky and weird. So I use these plain 6-bar soaps. 3 of them come in a pack if you get them on Amazon. I have got so many of them, so it's kind of crazy. So I will tell you that one batch of this soap will fill up 2 of these. So you at least need 2 of them. There's 6 bars in each one of these, so it'll be a total of 12 bars. Approximately, this soap, whenever I go to pour it, it will be 3 pounds of soap. That is a crazy fact. I hope that I have not scared y'all this far, and we're going to continue on, and I'm going to show y'all how to actually get these set up and how I do it, because I am working on a plastic table. This table is plastic. And it's very easy to melt this table. I have stuck a crock pot on here and it actually dented this table in and melted it. So please be careful what you're using and how you use it and your materials of everything. So let's get this started. So whenever I go to set up my soap molds, I always put a towel down first. I put a towel down first to absorb some of the heat, okay? If it leaks through the other stuff. And then I have a cardboard, a big flat piece of cardboard. This actually helps insulate it because you want your soap to stay warm and stay hot. Okay, I set my soap molds. This is like one of the first things you do to get ready, because once the process is going, you don't want to have to stop mixing to set up your stuff, because your soap is going to set up fast and it's gonna just go crazy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set these up. I have these little what's them things called? The
dowels.
Yep, or shish kebabs thingies. Y'all, I cannot say that word kebabs word correctly. So, but I have these little things. I use these to place on, after I pour my soap into these molds, I use it to place on top. So that way it will leave a little bit of air gap between the soap molds and this, because as you could see prior, like there is soap on here that actually come up, that rose out of this, because this gets very hot. So, and basically what I do,
Tell them how you put them dowels on there.
I lay these okay, so I lay these dowels across just like this, just to leave enough air through it. Just like that. And then I set this on top. Okay, and I set it on top. Now, I have 2 extra towels that I actually lay across this. One on one side that's folded in half and one on the other side that's folded in half. So that way everything here is actually well insulated and it will keep it hot. And so now that I have that set up, and I'm not rushing through to talk to y'all about how to do it, I'm just gonna leave everything setting just like that. So then we will continue with that after we get our soap mixed. Alright guys, so for this next part, we are actually going to mix the lye. The lye is going to take a good 30-45 minutes to actually cool down. So we're going to go ahead and mix it, and then we'll talk some more about the other stuff that you need. I have 2 jars. In this portion, you're going to need 2 jars. You're going to need your lye solution, and you're going to need your water. You're going to need a scale, and I use my wooden cutting board. I don't cut on this board. All I use is that's just what it is. I do not use this. The only time I use this is to set hot stuff on. And then I have a thermometer. It's just the one that I got from the grocery store. So basically, when we go to do this, is you need to make sure that everything is measured in grams. Okay, we are going to start doing this in grams. And for the water, because I'm going to be pouring the lye solution into the water, not the other way around. For the water, you're going to make sure that it goes into the bigger jar. This is actually a jar that was given to me. It has sticky stuff on it. This is the only thing that I use for the lye solution. So we're going to set that on there, and you're going to make sure that you actually tare it. And make sure it's zeroed out, just like that. Okay? With the jar on it. Now you're going to need 252 grams of water. So I'm going to take my jar and I'm just going to take my water and just go up to 252 grams. Okay, so it's at 253, but so it does not matter if you're 1 ounce over or 1 ounce less, or or 1 gram lower or 1 gram less. It does not matter. As long as you got approximately the right ratio of water and lye, you are good to go. Just make sure whenever it doesn't say 252 grams of water, you ain't got 263. Okay, so you want it right there around that number. Alright, so now we're going to go and we're going to move on to the lye solution, the lye part of it. Alright guys, so I used this jar for my water because it is bigger. Because you're going to pour your lye beads into your water, not the other way around. Don't pour your water into your lye jar, because you could cause a very fast chemical reaction, and I have never done it that way. I've always done to where you pour the lye into the water, not the water into the lye. So we're going to measure out this lye, and I'm going to need 126 grams of lye. Let's make sure my thingy's on. Alright, got 127, which is, I got 253 of water, so it's okay. Alright, so now for this next part, please do not hang over top of the solution, because it will burn your nose. It won't literally burn your nose, like the fumes won't burn your nose, but it'll leave a good tingling flavor. Alright, now, most of the time I do this and I put this in the bathroom, so that way the fumes do not get around the kids. I do not have the kids around me right now, so I think that it's okay. And as I pour it in there and as I mix it, I'm actually going to step a little bit back, so that way the fumes don't rise up into my nose. Alright, so I'm going to take this is 126 grams, and I'm going to pour this into my water. I'm going to turn this a little bit so that way y'all can see the kind of reaction. And it is starting to heat up. Do you see it getting foggy? And it's starting, I can hear it sizzling. And you're just going to stir it. You're going to make sure it's stirred really good. Make sure, like, I can actually feel the smoothness of the bottom of the jar, and I can tell if the solution stuck to the lye stuck to the bottom of it or not. So basically, all I'm going to do is just stir it really good, and I'm going to start backing up because I can already start to smell it. All right. Now I'm going to take this spoon and this jar, and I'm going to go rinse it out. I'm just going to leave this here. Alright, so, and I rinsed that off because it's still, like, if I was to take that spoon, even though I dipped it into the solution, I did not want it to burn my board because it is hot. This jar is hot. I cannot touch this jar. I mean, yes, I could touch it, but it's like a no-no. So, we're going to do the temperature of it, and we're going to see how much it actually is. or how hot it actually is. Alright guys, so it's right at 210 degrees. Okay, that is actually boiling point. So if you were boiling water. So we're just gonna let this set and we're gonna let it cool. Alright guys, so it's at 179 right now. We're just gonna still wait and we're gonna get on to the measuring of the coconut oil and how many grams and everything that we need to do with that. Alright y'all, sorry y'all, my husband's back there trying to work the camera. But anyways, so this is still counting down. This is at 168 now, and it's still going down. You want it to get down around 120, anywhere between 110 and 120. So that way you could be able to handle it and actually pour it and be able to tolerate it. We're going to now mix the, or melt the coconut oil. And I'm going to use a 4-cup measuring glass. I stick it in the microwave. You can also stick it in a pot on the stove. But as all of my subscribers know, I am working in a small area and not a real kitchen. So we're going to do 840 grams of coconut oil. That is a lot of coconut oil, but it will make a lot of soap. Okay, so let's get this started. Let me get my thingy turned on. And then we're going to set it and make sure it tears. We're going to tear the weight. Alright, wait a minute, let me make sure it does it right. Okay, it's at 0. Alright, we're going to open this coconut oil. When you use coconut oil, or you're using this coconut oil, you want to make sure it's thick. You really don't want melted coconut oil. If you have to put it in the refrigerator for a few minutes, then please do. You want it hard, or kind of like a hard texture or a thick texture. You do not want it already melted, just because it will be hard to work with. Okay, so we're going to do 840 grams of coconut oil. That's 423. $756. $815. $850. Hang on, is that? Nope. Yep. Alright. So we take a little bit off. Y'all, this gets like down to the nitpicky. Alright, that's close. It's 841, but it's alright. Now, see, I have oil all over my hands. I do not want that to happen. So, hon, can you throw me that red towel right there so I can just wipe the oil off? Because I don't want to be messing or slipping anything or dropping anything. Alright, so now that we have, go ahead and start that. Now that we have our coconut oil in our container, I am using this jar because, or this cup, because it is actually for an oven. this is actually made to be put into an oven or put into a hot place. Please do not use a plastic or container to do this. Please do not use a plastic container to do this. So we're going to put this into our microwave and we're going to set it for 1 minute. And just to give you an update, it's at 161, so it's still counting down. So let's get this in the microwave. Alright, we're going to set it for, sorry my nose itches. Okay, we're going to set it for 1 minute and we're going to let it melt. Now, like I was saying, you can put coconut oil in a pot on the stove. You can do it that way. All you have to do is melt it down and get it to that temperature, that little happy temperature between 110 and 120. You kind of wanted your lye solution to be the same temperature as your coconut oil. Okay? So my temperature is getting right down to approximately where I want it to be at. It's at 132. It's going to continue to go down, but we need to go here and we need to check our coconut oil. Now, coconut oil melts or begins to melt right around anywhere around 90 degrees. So that's why I put it in there for a minute. Now I'm going to turn it on every 15-second intervals until it reaches a little above the desired 120 temperature. I had something sticky in my hands. Alright, so it's at 113. I really would like it to be right around the 120. So 15 more seconds and then I'm calling it. But that is how I actually started out using an actual old mixer to mix my soaps and stuff with. That's why I have an actual mixing bowl that everything's going to go into, and the actual lid that goes to it, because this lid is actually going to protect you from the splashing of this. You can use the mixer. It'll just take a little, like 10-15 minutes longer to get the consistency that you want. And you don't want the there's 3 different types of consistency. There's a light, or trace, excuse me. There's 3 different types of traces. There's a light trace, a medium trace, and a heavy trace. And I will show you what the light trace is, what the medium trace is, and what the heavy trace is. Well, I'm not going to heavy, because you will see that it'll actually just keep getting thicker. The thicker it is, the heavier the trace is. Okay, so we're going to take our oil. Alright, we're going to pour our oil directly into here. Bowl. Just like that. Alright, now we're just going to set some of this other stuff out of the way before we pour our lye solution in here. Ready to go. This is ready to go. Now all I got to do is pour my lye solution. Now notice I can touch it and not get totally burnt or not be too hot. But I am going to put this bowl on top of the cutting board, just because I do not want my table getting burnt, because this oil is hot and this is hot. All right. Okay, guys. So I have my lye solution, and I'm going to pour it into this bowl, and you will see the reaction that it's going to have. It'll make it foggy, really foggy. Now you can also, if you don't feel like doing it that way, so that way it does not splash, I have also learned that, where's my metal spoon? Okay, I have also learned that if you take a metal spoon that's kind of wide and you stick it down in the coconut oil and pour your solution on top of that, it will not splash. So that's like a really good thing to know. A different way of doing it. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little lid to just kind of protect my hands and my arms from this solution and stuff and this thingy, because this is actually a lot more dangerous than just using a mixing bowl with your lid. Honest to God. That's what I got that for. Alright guys, so I'm going to take this and put this in here. I'm only going to run it on low. This one only has 2 speeds. I'm going to run it on low. So we're going to mix it for a little bit. Alright guys, so we're going to mix it for a little bit. You can start to see it, like I'm just pulsing it. In this situation. Alright guys, so we brought the husband around here so that way he can see it. Makes it really good. Okay, so this is actually like a light trace. Like in the trace, you can see it on the. It will actually still be stuck to the blender right here. So that's actually a light trace, and we're gonna do it a little bit more, and then we're gonna put our ingredients, our smell good stuff in there. All right. So I'm just gonna leave this sitting in here. Okay, now these are the oil. This is the oil that I'm going to use. I like the smell of it, so this is the oil that I'm going to use. And we're going to put this in here. But I'm going to take this out, and I'm actually going to put it in this bowl that I had the coconut oil in. And I'm just going to set it to the side over here. And we're going to remove the lid. Alright, and then I have my oils that I'm going to put in here. Alright, so how much you actually put in here is actually up to you. You don't want it too strong, so I recommend putting in a few drops and just seeing how it smells. Smell it and then put some more in. Alright guys, so we're going to take this and and like I was saying, it all depends on how much you want it to smell. I have, and this is actually a kind of a thin batch. So I'm going to put 4 of these droppers in it. But if you're using the smaller bottles, then please feel free to only use like 10, anywhere from 10 to 20 drops of essential oils. And that is what I'm using. And you can actually smell it, and it smells wonderful. Okay, so these herbs, these chocolate mint herbs, I actually harvested from our garden. I've never heard of chocolate mint before until this day. Or until the other day, sorry, when I first made this recipe. So we're going to take a little bit, and I do not measure this. I have not ever measured this, but this is a natural herb, and it smells like chocolate, like no joke chocolate. Alright. So I'm just going to take it and sprinkle it in here. And this is actually going to help with the green color. Alright, I'm just going to add a little bit more, just so that way you do have texture, because I like to see the texture in it. And you can see the texture. You can begin to see the texture. Now, there's many different ways to color your soap. I like to use mica powder. So I'm going to use my green color of mica powder. There is actually liquid coloring that you can use. There's other types of coloring that you can use, but I like the mica powder. Alright, let's remove that lid because I put it back on there. Alright, and then I'm going to stir this. And I'm actually going to get my blender out in just a minute. Or my immersion blender back up. So that way I know that it actually got mixed in really good.
How much mica powder do you put in there?
It depends on how much coloring you want in it. If you want a very, very trace of green in it, then you put very little. But if you want it dark green, then you keep doing it until you get the mixture right.
So you just mix it. You add some and mix it, and you can see the color right automatically.
Yes. Alright guys, so we are going to take this and put this in here. I'm going to set this over there on the cardboard so that way it is still safe. And like I said, it is harder for me to teach y'all and do this because I'm so used to just doing this at a very fast pace and not a whole lot of talking. So yes, it has kind of thickened up, rather thick, but it is still green and it is still beautiful. And I will show y'all in this. Y'all see that green? It's like a mint colored green. Now I'm going to take this and actually begin to pour this very quickly into this area. And I will move it. I'm going to slide it down. Just because I have better reach of it. Ready?
Yeah. Oh.
Alright guys, so we're going to quickly, this is my second batch. I went ahead and did 2 batches because I also sell this. So this is the second batch, and we're gonna just pour this in here, and it's actually going in there quite smoothly. The first batch went kind of crazy and cockeyed, and I think this one is going to go kind of crazy and cockeyed also. Alright guys, so I have my little sticks, and this is actually kind of fast that you have to do. Grab those towels and bring them around to me, please. Alright, I'm sticking these little sticks over these so that way it leaves a little bit of air. Just like I said at the beginning of this video. Then we're going to cover this. You need to try to do this as quickly as possible to keep the heat in. You're going to take your towel that's folded in half and lay one like that. And lay the other the same way. And there you go. That's how you make your soap. You're gonna do not open this, do not lift these towels, do not look at this until the following morning. The following morning, you could take your towels off. It will be cool. And I will show you with some other bars that I have of how to store them and how long to store them for. Alright. Alright guys, so this is actually soap that has already been waiting the 4 to 6 weeks time frame. You want to make sure you wait 4 to 6 weeks to use your soap at least, because the moisture that's in the shower will actually eat this bar away if you use it right away within that 4 week time frame. So tomorrow morning, the next day after you make your soaps and after everything is cooled, they will come out and they will look like this. But they will look like they fit in the molds a little bit better. But they will look like this. They will be hard. They will be, you can touch them and you won't get no soap on you. There will be no moving of the soap when you rub your hands across it. I mean, it will be hard, okay? And what you do is you just pull your soaps out, and I'm just going to set them on the table here. Okay, and this is my chocolate mint soap that is actually ready to be sold on the website. Okay, so you have your soaps. Now, how you store these soaps is actually very critical because they cannot be in a damp place. They have to be in a cool, dry place. They cannot be in the heat because they will melt. Okay, so but after that 4 to 6 weeks time frame, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want with them. So I'm going to take these soaps. I have a box here. This is how I used to store my soaps before I actually got my soap like shelving unit, I guess you want to call it. So we're going to take our soaps and we're just going to set them down in here. And I'm not going to stack these. Do not stack these. Make sure they have enough room. Like when I lay them in the box, I have a gap between them. So that's approximately how far apart you want to place your soaps, and just set them in there. The same distance apart they are in the molds, same distance apart they should be in there. So that way they can breathe and the air can move around them. So I'm going to set these soaps in here, and then we're just going to take them and I will just put them in a cool, dry place, like your closet or someplace underneath a counter or something like that. Just out of the way and forget about them for 4 to 6 weeks. And then one of the ways that you know is the day that you take them out of the molds, you can actually take one of those bars and actually weigh it. Okay, you can actually weigh the bar, and in ounces or however you want to do it, you can weigh it and then turn around. Every week after that, you can actually weigh that same bar and keep note of it, and you will see that the weight is lessening. And that is because the water is actually coming out of this soap. And that's what you want, the water to leave the soap. That's why a lot of people, I have mine in a refrigerator unit, and everyone knows that a refrigerator is a dehumidifier. In case you did not know that, yes, a refrigerator is a dehumidifier. I store mine in the refrigerator that it is broken. It does not have any Freon in it. It stays at the same temperature, 66 to 70 degrees, and I just leave it running so that way it will cycle that water out of this soap. That's what I do. That's what I've started doing here recently with my last batch of soap. So yeah, you can either store it in a dry place or you can do it like I do. I would prefer for the people who do it the first time to store it in a box or in a container and just set it to the side and just forget about it. That's what needs to happen. Alright guys, so I hope that you liked this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know I have, and I appreciate everyone who has sat through and hear me talk and all that, and I hope you learned something. It is a simple and easy recipe, and you don't need a whole lot of knowledge to know how to do it. Just be careful and be safe, and please use precautions if you do not feel comfortable. Thank you all so much for watching, and may God bless you like He has blessed us. Bye guys.